It's your boy Joshua Monday coming with another episode of The Art of Scaling Up. We are live at the ScaleUp Business Conference, and we're just talking to some of our amazing speakers on really giving you the information and insights you need to scale up. And I'm talking to one of the best and brightest in banking, and actually a bank or a part owner of a bank. And we'll be talking to him shortly. But before we do that, I need you all to do 4 things. I need you to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the alert bell. So when we drop this amazing content, you will get alerted. But I want to have a conversation with my good friend on really the steps you need to take in 2024 to become bankable and be able to go get some money. I know a lot of y'all focus in on, man, I can't launch my business because I don't have the resources or the money. But this is a conversation that'll lead you to where you need to be. So I'd like to give a huge scale up welcome to my guy, Jeff McGruder. He is the Chief Relationship Officer at Citizens Bank in Nashville, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee. And they're doing so many amazing things. And I'd like to welcome you, man. How you doing today?
Having lots of fun, man.
Man, that's awesome, man. So I always like to start with the origin story. Mm-hmm. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then how did you get into banking?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Nashville, luckily enough to be raised by some parents and grandparents that were service-based, church-based, so you had a good foundation of understanding who you are as a young kid. I went on to college at Lipscomb and UT, and focused on business and some athletic stuff, but had a heart for serving and got a job at a bank in East Tennessee, in Maryville, Tennessee. That was over 20 years ago, and I cut my teeth as in the branch and realized that I didn't see a lot of people that looked like myself in leadership, but also realized that the way to really learn banking was to get into commercial. So I fast-tracked to commercial banking, where I've spent most of my career in commercial and private banking, understanding small businesses, is also the wealth management side, which led me to an opportunity to help recapitalize Citizens Bank, which is now fully recapitalized. Being the nation's oldest black-owned bank, that comes with a lot of challenges, but being able to raise the capital to do that and have a team that supported that, now the ship's in the right direction. Now we're getting ready to go.
Yeah. So as over 20 years in banking, what was that decision to say, I'm going to go over to one of the oldest black banks? So I know you was working for a large firm, and most probably saw it in your industry that, man, you're leaving this large firm to go to this small black-owned bank that doesn't have any money, that
I'll give Josh Monday some credit for that. I think seeing my peers like you go home and work in North Nashville, being there all the time, Slim and Huskies, folks on the street, DJ Wooson, being in my neighborhood, seeing it gentrified, but also seeing us have vibrance. And I was working at Pinnacle at the time, and I was just like, look, I'm over here doing stuff. And so as I heard about things happening at Citizens, I reached out and tried to figure out a way to get in and be a part of it, because I knew there was an opportunity there. And so I can't give myself credit, but I saw folks like yourself taking the chance on our people, and was having great success.
All right, you reached out to them. Then what was the decision? Did you come in there with the mindset of acquisition, or you came in the mindset of serve and then acquisition just fell in your lap?
It was a mindset of service. And so when you are approaching a bank that's been owned by the same family, ran by the same board, the mindset of coming in to take over is never the one that they will approve. And so to be able to work behind the scenes and give advice and refer people initially, and then take a job and to show my worth, was the way I approached it. Although the money was identified that was interested in investing, but the work was needed to be done to prove myself that I'm willing to take the risk to come over and learn how the culture moves over there. And now that I've seen that was the only way to do it. There were several groups that were interested in being a part of what the bank had going on, but they wanted to completely gut it and do away with all of our history. And so that wasn't going to be done under the current leadership, which I understand greatly and appreciate, and we are still preserving that.
Man, that's awesome. So as a banker, I know you see everything. Mm-hmm. All right. So I want you to give some of the key steps. All right. I got a business. I need about $50,000. You know, I'm just getting going. What does that look like? How should I be prepared to approach somebody like you at a small business bank to like get funding for my small business?
I think understanding your accounting, first off, I think a lot of entrepreneurs see the revenue piece and they're good at that and drawing in, but being able to leverage the revenue for debt is a dance, and understanding how to use your accounting and use your tax returns and your personal financial statements to paint the picture of success. And I think that starts with the banker, and that can teach you that, because that's not something your CPA can really show you or your attorney. Your banker really has to walk you through that. And many times the entrepreneur feels the need to borrow money, and they walk in coldly and say, I need this. And they don't really understand why they need it. And that's really where a lot of folks miss out. It's understanding the why do they need to borrow money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from a relationship standpoint, I know I always hear you say, go ahead and start developing that relationship now before you need the money.
100%.
Why is that so important?
Well, I think it shows the bankers that you are serious about your business, and so every year you file a tax return, shoot it over to your banker, even if you don't need to borrow money. Every time you update your personal financial statement, shoot that over to your banker, and just say, throw this in the file because I may need it. And so guess what that does? The banker wants to look at it because they may see something on there and call and say, hey man, you made some good money. Let me go ahead and give you a line of credit. Or I see that your house has appreciated this amount of money. Let me get your home equity line of credit. And so allow the banker to actually help you be an advisor.
Yeah.
You know, and versus we do it the other way. We think the bank is just sitting there waiting on you to ask for money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that. You have to develop the relationship with the bank as well.
Yeah, and I really want to tackle one thing real quick. I know a lot of people you probably see on the internet, you can just write off everything and think you can go to the bank without showing that you've made any money. So why isn't just really talk about how important it is to show that you're making revenue before you go to the bank?
And look, like banking is the most highly regulated industry in the country. That means that Uncle Sam is in our front door every day, which means that also flows into the IRS knowing what's going on. And so there's no way that a federal regulated entity would allow for people to not pay taxes and borrow money.
Yes.
It's as simply as that, you know, and we all know the game when it comes to tax mitigation to actually not pay, but when it comes to borrowing debt, we're regulated. And so you need to show and actually pay Uncle Sam his due. And that bottom line also shows cash flow that you're reinvesting in the business and that growth of equity. And so positive bottom numbers are very important to bankers.
Got you. And then let's just leave with this. What is, I would say, two things that you see in 2024 when it comes to lending? Is it still tight? Are banks starting to loosen up? And then what are you seeing as like trends in regards to the economy for 2024?
I'll talk about, you know, the Fed's expectations to lower rates this year at least 3 times, and over the next 2 years 6, and so that gives us about 150 basis points back down around 5%. And so it's actually an exciting time to start planning for re-establishing your business, because that means the rates are going to be cheaper, and you will be able to scale your business faster because it won't cost as much. And so I think paying attention to that, watching CNBC to watch when the Fed lowers rates is important to know when to strike and when to go and borrow against your business with cheaper debt. And as far as trends, you know, I think, you know, of course the mortgage industry will come back. You know, it's already showing signs with some lower rates. The market is sensing it. But I say by this summer, when we have a couple of rates that drop, that's going to drop everything, because when the houses start selling, everything else kind of flows behind it. And so, you know, that's one of our best indicators of the economy is housing sales, because when people move, they transition, they start businesses, and so all that goes right in hand. And so it's just par for the course. That, I mean, I want to, you know, give a shout out to our Fed for actually slowing things down.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff was getting too expensive.
It was getting very expensive.
So we needed a little break. We needed to, like, you know, everybody took a little kick in the rear end last year.
Yes.
But it also made us refocus on our businesses so we can pivot
Yeah.
and scale up.
Let's go, man.
You know?
Well, thank you so very much, man. Man, you did an amazing job in the conference,
Thank
man.
you.
You gave them really some insightful things to take away that can really help them scale up in 2024. So thank you again, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you all for tuning in to the Art of Scaling Up. We're live at the ScaleUp Business Conference, and we look forward to another conversation next week. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share if this information was good to you. Thank you.